Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Hare Krishna. So we were on the verse 19th. Sorry. Okay, someone can read the translation. Translation, please. Where's the mic? Yeah.
Yes. Translation. By the strength of scientific knowledge, one should be well situated in absolute realization and thus be able to extinguish all material desires. One should then give up the material body by blocking the air hole through which stool is evacuated.
Okay.
With the heel of one's foot and by lifting the life air from one place to another in the 6 primary places.
Yeah. So till 18th, it is described how that yogi reaches Brahm realization, and now the process of liberation. And the process of liberation for such yogi is Shat Chakra Yoga. The 6 chakras in our subtle body, they are the energy centers. So through them he liberates himself. So we put all these 12 tilaks in our body. The one purpose is to decorate our body. Our body is like a temple in which the super soul resides. And the other advantage of putting tilak is that is energy circles in the subtle body are energized. So that is also the advantage of putting the tilak. The circles are here only. Mooladhara chakra is and then below the navel, and then chest, then below the palate, then between these 2 eyebrows, and then Brahmarandhra. So there are 6 chakras. Okay. So what yogi does is he then gives off the material body by blocking the air hole with the heel of one's foot and lifting the life air from one place to another in 6 primary places. Okay. Okay. So it's coming. The Vishwanath Thakur's commentary we can read. Itham.
Itham means situated in Brahman. The word tu indicates that he must make great endeavor for this compared to what will be explained later. His subtle desires are destroyed by the strength of his vision gained through realization. The method of giving up the body is then described. Pressing the Mooladhara chakra with his heel, he should lead the prana through 6 places: the navel, heart, chest, base of the palate, forehead, between the brows, and Brahmarandhra. Starting below the navel, passing the Swadhisthana chakra, one raises the air to the navel with the Manipuraka chakra, then to the heart with the Anahata chakra, and then to the chest, to the Vishuddha chakra, situated below the throat.
Okay. Okay, right. So, Prabhupada's purport continues. Controlling the life air.
Controlling the life air by the prescribed yogic process is mechanical, and the practice is more or less physical endeavor for spiritual perfection. In olden days, such practice was very common for the transcendentalist. For the mode of life and character in those days were favorable. But in modern days, when the influence of the Kali age is so disturbing, practically everyone is untrained in this art of bodily exercise.
Yeah. So only the chanting is a solution in the Kali Yuga. Okay. Nabhyam sitam hardi adhiropya tasmad udana gatyorasi tamnaye namone tato anusandhaya dhiya manasvi Swatalumulam shanakirnayeta. Yes, Prabhu.
The meditative devotee should slowly push up the life air from the navel to the heart, from there to the chest, and from there to the root of the palate. He should search out the proper places with intelligence.
Yeah. Okay. Purport, please.
There are 6 circles of the movement of the life air, and the intelligent bhakti yogi should search out these places with intelligence. And abdomen and navel is the Manipuraka chakra. When upper space is further searched out in the heart, one reaches the Anahata chakra. And further up, when the life air is placed at the root of the palate, one reaches the Vishuddha chakra.
Tasmad dhruvo antaram annayeta niruddha sapta yatanonu apeksha sthitva muhurtardham akuntha drishti nirbhadya murdhan visrujet param gataha.
Thereafter, the bhakti yogi should push the life air up between the eyebrows, and then blocking the 7 outlets of the life air, he should maintain his aim for going back home, back to Godhead. If he is completely free from all desires for material enjoyment, he should then reach the cerebral hole and give up his material connections, having gone to the Supreme.
Yeah. So Prabhupada is translating in terms of a devotee. He is not a bhakti yogi, he is a Yoga Mishra Bhakti. So then he goes to his place. So he brought his between the eyebrows, his Agya Chakra, and blocks the 7 outlets. What are the 7 outlets? 2 nostrils, 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. And then unattached, all these desires are not there. He is absorbed in Brahm, and then he persists Brahmarandra and gives up his body. Okay? So, so this is how Prabhupada is writing the purport. You can read the purport, please.
The process of giving up all material connections and returning home back to Godhead, the Supreme is recommended herein. The condition is that one should be completely freed from the desire for material enjoyment. There are different grades of material enjoyments in respect to duration of life, and are different grades of material enjoyments in respect to duration of life and sense gratification. The highest plane of sensual enjoyment for the longest period of life is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita 9.20. All are but material enjoyments, and one should be thoroughly convinced that he has no need of such a long duration of life, even in Brahmaloka planet. He must return home back to Godhead, and must not be attracted by any amount of material facilities. In Bhagavad Gita 2.59, it is said that this sort of material detachment is possible to attain when one is acquainted with the supreme association of life. Param drashtva nivartate. One cannot be freed from material attraction unless he has complete understanding of the nature of spiritual life. The propaganda by a certain class of impersonalists that spiritual life is void of all varieties is dangerous propaganda to mislead the living beings into becoming more and more attracted by material enjoyments. As such, persons with a poor fund of knowledge cannot have any conception of the Param, the Supreme. They try to stick to the varieties of material enjoyments, although they may flatter themselves as being Brahman realized souls. Such less intelligent persons cannot have any conception of the Param, as mentioned in this verse, and therefore they cannot reach the Supreme. The devotees have full knowledge of the spiritual world, the personality of Godhead and his transcendental association in unlimited spiritual planets called Vaikuntha Lokas. Herein, Akuntha Drishti is mentioned. Akuntha and Vaikuntha convey the same import, and only one who has his aim fixed upon that spiritual world and personal association with the Godhead can give up his material connections even while living in the material world. This Param and the Param Dham mentioned in several places in Bhagavad Gita are one and the same thing. One who goes to the Param Dham does not return to the material world. This freedom is not possible even by reaching the topmost loka of the material world. The life air passes through 7 openings, namely 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. Generally, it passes through the mouth at the time of an ordinary man's death. But the yogi, as above mentioned, who controls the life air in his own way, generally releases the life air by puncturing the cerebral hole in the head. The yogi therefore blocks up all the above mentioned 7 openings so that the life air will naturally burst forth through the cerebral hole. This is a sure sign of a great devotee is living the material connection.
Okay. So Prabhupada is mentioning that in the spiritual world also there is a variety, and because it's impersonally they are nirvisheshvadi, they say that in the spiritual world there is no variety, and because of this only they are encouraging the sense gratification in this material world, because variety is the mother of enjoyment. Okay. So in first 1.1.1 also, when the Prabhupada mentions that all these impersonalists, they are in fact they are encouraging more of sex life in this material world, because it is very dry process. And then I say where they will go, that is also very dry. Spiritual world is no variety. So no variety, no enjoyment. So only rasa is available in this material world. This material world has variety. So in a way, they are impelling everyone to go for sex gratification. Okay.
Process of yoga, this life here is purified from material desires.
Yeah.
So subtle body get dissolved or
Subtle body. He leaves both gross and subtle bodies.
Both.
And the soul goes from here.
so soul instead of passing through the 7
Yeah.
out, why they are passing like this?
Yeah, he passes through his Brahmarandhra.
Brahmananda. No other
Hmm?
no other area they are passing through.
Yes.
Why?
That's what is described here. The pure yogi. And then he goes to his destination, he merges into the Brahma effulgence. That- Yeah. Devotees. Yes. Liberation means freedom from subtle body.
Throughout the life, we try to set our consciousness, think of Krishna with this mind,
Yeah.
and at the time of death, we give up this.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. In the, you will read in Lord Kapil Dev will says, the bhakti is so strong that it dissolves our subtle body. Just like a digestive fire dissolves the food we eat, the bhakti is so powerful, it dissolves our subtle body. Now you say, the Vishwanath Thakur explains, you're talking we had good sanskars also. You know? So they are not dissolved, they go along with the soul, because then it is the nature of the soul to serve Krishna. Now we are identifying ourselves with the subtle body. Mind is immediate neighbor of the soul. You know? So everyone we identify ourselves with the mind only. But the mind, when it is completely cleaned, Cheto Darpan Majanam, when it is completely cleaned, the soul sees itself.
So that purified mind will be there.
It's not required.
Means if we say our spiritual
Don't be
senses are
attached.
shrinking
It's
now.
not required. It's not required. Soul is purified, consciousness is purified.
So this spiritual body will have a spiritual mind.
Yeah, spiritual mind, spiritual senses will be.
So we are trying to activate that spiritual mind and intelligence.
Yeah. Now the spirit soul is in compressed form.
Yeah, shrinking.
So when we know our Swarup, it will come in his
spiritual body will have a spiritual
Yes,
mind.
senses,
intelligence.
mind, everything. Gopis plan, gopis have intelligence, gopis have senses. This is spirit only, there's no body.
So here these yogis, the spirit soul which enters, that enters with a spiritual mind and spiritual intelligence.
No. These yogis, they give up their mind.
Subtle mind.
Subtle body and gross body both. And the soul goes to the Brahm.
That soul has a spiritual mind and spiritual intelligence.
But they're not actuated their spiritual senses.
Yes. But we devotees, we carry.
Actuate our spiritual senses.
Yes.
They're not actuated the spiritual senses.
Thank you. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, since this is that Paramatma meditator yogi, detached yogi going on discussion, so how to understand Srila Prabhupada writing the last word that this is the sign of, sure short sign of a great devotees leaving the material connection. So how to understand Srila Prabhupada telling him a devotee?
So Prabhupada wants that there should not be an iota of doubt in us. Okay, I'll practice this yoga. So Prabhupada is completely ensuring that. So in all the purports of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, wherever such discussions comes, Prabhupada again it relates to only Bhakti Yogi. So that because we are people of Kali Yuga, conditioned souls of Kali Yuga, we'll say, let's try this also. we believe more on our experience than on Shabd Pramad. Even now we have so many deviations in our pure devotional service also. Everyone likes to try his own thing. So if Prabhupada is strictly writing as per what is this yoga, many of you like to try this. Let's try. So that's why Prabhupada is always stressing upon pure devotional service in all the purports. Prabhupada didn't want us to become an academic scholar. Just wanted to have the essence of everything. Yes, Prabhuji. Life air carries the soul. And the soul floats in the life air. It carries the soul. But that life is left here, the soul goes and merges into the Brahm. Because there's a life here, the 10 kinds of life here, 5 major, 5 minor. So the yogi has that practice, it's a mechanical process. He lifts this life air up and uses that life air to push the soul out of this body. Yeah. Then the soul is. Sorry, Mike.
Soul is spiritual. It can live without puncturing the cerebral. Then why it is important to puncture the Brahmarandhra?
No, I mean, it has to go out from any of the hole. 7 holes are there.
Why whole? It can go directly. It is spirit. It cannot be bound by matter.
It cannot be bound by matter.
Yeah.
Yes, it cannot be bound by matter. But this is how this is. Baba says it's a mechanical process. You are saying nothing should happen and it just go and merge into the Brahman.
No, it's obvious. Prabhuji, soul, it cannot be,
Yeah, it cannot be restricted because it is.
So when it has
cannot
to
be
pass,
restricted by any mechanical means.
It can pass through hand also. Why only the head?
You see, this is a yoga process. So yoga process has its life air. The soul is floating in the life air. It's a kind of a mechanical process. So this yoga process takes the help of this life air. They do pranayama also. They do the balancing of everything. So in the sadhana stage of a yogi, it helps. So that may be the process of relieving the soul from this body. So now we'll have to go into the detail of yoga actually. why it is done. We have to go into detail of yoga which we are not aware.
So for yogis, it is okay, mechanically they are doing like that.
Yeah.
But for ordinary living entities, Prabhupada saying that generally it goes through mouth.
Yeah.
So that is my question. Why mouth only? I mean, it can go from any part of the body.
Yeah, from mouth also, from any of the 9 holes it can go.
Yeah, that is the thing I'm asking. Why soul is finding a hole?
Because in the present time, one sec, for the conditioned soul, the soul is not active. The soul is carried from one body to another body through the subtle body.
They are also not bound by the gross body.
Subtle body. So the subtle body can leave. Subtle body has to have some opening to leave. So they'll go through the opening.
Subtle body can also live without opening, Prabhuji.
Subtle body can go through the opening, but life here is there, subtle body is there. This is the process. You see, when the ghost enters into someone, he also enters through this holes only. This, that's why we should keep ourselves clean. That's how it enters into us. So that must be the process. And when the soul is being transferred from the one body to another body, the subtle body carries it. Now our subtle body, mind is here. So we may be sitting here, the mind has to go. We don't know from which opening the mind is going out. We don't know. Mind is going out, mind is coming in. But when the mind takes the soul, then we declare dead. So your question is, even the subtle body leaves, so it may just disappear. But that's how this whole gross body is declared as Nav Puradehi, Nav Dware. It has 9 gates of this is compared to like a city. So that must be the process. Through these gates only, the soul will enter and the soul will leave. I never thought about that. It's a good question.
Prabhuji, in the translation it is mentioned that he should aim for going back home, back to Godhead. He should maintain his aim for going back home, back to Godhead.
Yeah.
That means these detached yogis, they go Parandam.
Now, yogi is not aiming of going back to Godhead. So Prabhupada means yogi means, for Prabhupada, yogi means bhakti yogi.
One of these images also it's mentioned.
Yeah. So for Prabhupada, never wants to take any chance. Yogi means bhakti yogi. We should not get spoiled.
The yogis who are lifting the prana. So the one thing which we know that the soul and super soul resides in the region of the soul, and the super soul resides in the region of the heart side by side. And the soul's perceiveness in the whole body is experienced
through
through consciousness.
Yeah.
So what does this mean, raising the soul, the prana from...
That probably we have to study the yoga. How is that the soul is in the region of the heart, how it is lifted from here. That we have to go in detail of yoga. So very rarely we discuss such things, Prabhupada never discusses such things. We have to go into details of the yoga, how it lifts up, what is the process, from the heart it goes here, where, we don't know. Only thing is there are 6 chakras, there are the energy circles, and how they are activated and they help, this is what.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, what is the difference between a yogi following the eightfold process of yoga and a devotee? Both follow, devotee also achieve perfection, like Samipya Mukti or Sarupa Mukti. Same way even yogi attains the perfection. So what sort of an advantage does one have over the other? Like, of course, devotional service said to be like an airplane, goes very fast. But what is the prior other advantage of following Bhakti Yoga?
Only difference is the yogi doesn't have the service propensity. Even if he gets the Samipya Mukti, Salokya Mukti, he won't serve. No. But devotee wants to serve. So devotee will never come back, but the yogi may fall down.
So that means he cannot go to Golok, following the eightfold process.
Yeah, you cannot go to. You cannot go to Golok.
Maximum Vaikuntha they get.
Maximum.
Okay, Prabhu. And one more question here is that previous ages, when they used to follow this eightfold yoga system process, did they still have an access to Naam, like chanting Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudeva, etc.? were there people following this sort of a devotion? Because we heard that was the age where they used to follow this system of yoga process. Where they access to it?
Yeah, because no process will be successful without devotional service. A tinge of bhakti has to be there. Because of that bhakti only, that process is giving them success. Nothing like pure gyan, pure yoga, nothing. It has to be tinged, it has to have a mixture of bhakti. That's why we see this yogi, he saw the personal form of the super soul, he meditated upon that, and then he...
Yeah, so Prabhu, my specific question is there, like how we are following devotional service like Harinam, that time where the people during the Satyuga age following Krishna consciousness or chanting Om Namah Bhagavate, such sort of a devotional service, by completely neglecting the eightfold path system, and just taking the chanting process. Was that accessible that time?
It was accessible, but Jiva Goswami Pad says in the Satyuga also the holy name was equally powerful. Holy name is eternal and its powers and potencies are eternal. But the Satyug people, because they had long lives and they were very austere, they had all good virtues and qualities, they were not so dependent on the holy name. They were dependent on their own strength. They didn't feel helpless. In Kali Yuga, at every moment we feel helpless. So we have no option but to chant the holy name. So that is the beauty of Kali Yuga.
Dhruva Maharaj, he was performing this one only?
Dhruva Maharaj had the mixture. Yeah.
Advanced.
Dhruva Maharaj had the deity form also, and Dhruva Maharaj chanted the mantra also, and he meditated also.
So same thing he had. And then he could see Paramatma.
He could see them.
Vishwamitra and Shaubari?
They were pure yogis.
Initially when they were doing?
Yes, they were performing yoga only.
Pure devotion?
No, not yoga. Yogi.
Same kind of?
Must be the same.
Ashtachakra.
Yeah.
Sat chakra.
Okay, should we go to the next? So this is how a detached yogi gets perfection. Okay. Now they will describe how the attached yogi, what is his journey. Okay. Yadi prayasyam nripaparameshtyam vehasanam ot yad viharam Ashtadhipatyam gunasannivaya Saheva gacchen manasendriyascha. Please read the translation.
However, O king, if a yogi maintains a desire for improved material enjoyments, like transference to the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, or the achievement of the eightfold perfections, travel in the outer space with the Vahiyasyas, or in the situation in one of the millions of planets, then he has to take away with him the materially molded mind and senses.
Yeah. So even after the stage of Pratyahar, if the yogi has desires, let me see what happens in the Brahmlok, let me roam around in the upper planets, let me go there and here. So then he is taken to those places. He is not liberated immediately. And this is the situation with most of us. It is not that these yogis have only this enjoyment as their aim of life. They want liberation, but along with the liberation, they want such enjoyment also. We all want to go back to Godhead, but at the same time, we like to relish nice prasadam also. No? It's not that we are completely detached. When the prasadam will come, we'll mix everything so that it becomes tasteless. No, we relish sweets, we relish other things. Okay. So nothing is black and white. Okay. So most of the conditioned souls will have this state. They want their ultimate aim of life also. At the same time, they may have desires to enjoy also. Like going from Mumbai to Delhi, on the way where the train stops, what is the specialty of this place? Let me taste this. So I'll have the taste. I'll taste that specific dish of that place, and then again board the train. Again I get down. Again I taste something. So on the way I'm having enjoyment also, and I'm proceeding also. It may be a little slow, no problem. I don't mind that. So this is the state of that yogi. Okay, so you all can relate with it, right? Okay, so purport Prabhuji. So Prabhupada is explaining there are 8 kind of siddhis also, and one may want to go to the topmost planets also. Okay, so such yogis with their materially molded mind and senses, they go to such places. So Prabhupada is writing, we can read from, the prime inclination of materialistic mind is to lord it over the material world, and all the siddhis mentioned above are the features of the domination over the world. The devotees of the Lord are not ambitious to dominate a false and temporary phenomenon. On the contrary, the devotee wants to be dominated by the supreme predominator, the Lord. A desire to serve the Lord, the supreme predominator, is spiritual or transcendental, and one has to attain this purification of mind and senses to get admission into the spiritual kingdom. With the materialistic mind, one can reach the best planet in the universe, but no one can enter into the kingdom of God. Senses are called spiritually purified when they are not involved in sense gratification. Okay, so Prabhupada is warning us that we should not get inspiration from this. Okay, so who these people are? They want enjoyment, they want 8 kind of siddhis also. So this verse describes Yogeshwaranam gati mahurantar Bahis trilokya pavanantaratmanam Na karma bhistam gati mapnuvanti Vidya tapo yog samadhi bhajam. Yes, Prabhuji.
The transcendentalists are concerned with the spiritual body. As such, by the strength of their devotional service, austerities, mystic power, and transcendental knowledge, their movements are unrestricted within and beyond the material world. The fruitive workers or the gross materialist can never move in such an unrestricted manner.
Okay, so their enjoyment is not that enjoyment of a karmi. Okay, these transcendentalists are concerned with the spiritual body, and they have done lot of vidya, tapo, yog, samadhi, bhajam. They have performed the devotional service, austerities, mystic power, and transcendental knowledge. Their movements are unrestricted within and beyond the material worlds. It is said, Gatim ahu antar bahe trilokya pavanantaram atmanam. So it's just like pavanantara means, Prabhupada is translating, within the air. So they can move in and out of this material world. So they are not ordinary people. Okay. So you can read the commentary of Vishwanath Thakur, please.
Though the yogis may enjoy, that is not the same enjoyment experienced by the karmis. They say that the great yogis can go inside the universe to places like Mahaloka and outside the universe as well, because they have subtle bodies. Pavanantara Antmana. They perform worship of the Lord, Vidya, follows the rules of the Lord's Tapo, practice Ashtanga Yoga, and Gyanis are well Samadhi.
Yes, so they are not ordinary souls. Okay, Prabhupada purport also stresses this point. Please read the purport.
The materialistic scientist endeavor to reach other planets by mechanical vehicles is only a futile attempt. One can, however, reach heavenly planet by virtuous activities, but one can never expect to go beyond Swarga or Janaloka by such mechanical or materialistic activities, either gross or subtle. The transcendentalists who have nothing to do with the gross material body can move anywhere within or beyond the material world. Within the material world, they move in the planetary system of the Mahar, Jana, Tapo, and Satyaloka. And beyond the material world, they can move in the Vaikuntha as unrestricted spacemen. Narad Muni is one of the example of such spacemen. Durvasa Muni is one of such mystic. By the strength of devotional service, austerities, mystic power, and transcendental knowledge, everyone can move like Narad Muni or Durvasa Muni. It is said that Durvasa Muni traveled throughout the entirety of material space and part of spiritual space within 1 year only. The speed of the transcendentalists can never be attained by the gross or subtle materialists.
Okay. So they are not like normal karmis. Their case is not like Shine Punya Mrityu Lokam Vishanti. No. So they go from one planet to the another planet. And when they go from one planet to another planet, the chief of that planet goes them to see them off. And other chief of the planet will receive them well. So with all respect they go. And they are not bound by the karmas. They have this desire and they are getting purified gradually. The subtle body is getting purified. Okay. So they are not bound by the karmas. Okay. And it is very interesting. See, in whole of the creation, in 14 planetary systems, only in the Bhulok we can perform karma. And this Bhulok has 7 dweep. Out of this 7 dweep, only in the Jambu Dweep karmas can be performed. And this Jambu Dweep has 9 varshas. After these 9 varshas, only in the Bharat varshas the karma can be performed. And out of all species, only human beings in the Bharat Varsha of Jambu Dweep of the Bhulok can perform karma. Getting the point? I'm saying now, Bhuloke Jambu Dweepe Bharat Varshe. And in that only humans can perform karma. So if you see the entire population in the entire creation, how much percentage is performing karma? 0.000001. They are performing karma. And the entire creation, rest of the creation is for dissolving this karma. Because of this karma only, we will be wandering the upper planets, lower planets, different species, this dweep, that dweep, And only this Bharat Varsha, Jambu Dweepa, all in human form of life, we generate karma. And this karma is so powerful for dissolving this karma. That karma may be generated in a moment. We have to just desire. The karma is generated. And for dissolving that karma, we may have to take millions and millions of births. That's why it's so important that human form of life is life of high responsibility. And because we have got birth in this Bharatvarsh, because we can perform karma, we can change our destiny and we can get rid of this cycle of birth and death. That's all. So it's such a tricky affair. But normally we are not aware of this because we all see we are all humans in this Bharatvarsh, so we should take it casually. But if the overall picture if we see, then out of this entire creation, 0.00001% has been given a chance. Okay, you selected living entities, you are being given a chance to go back to Godhead. Brahmand Brahmite Kono Bhagyavanji. It is so rare. Okay. So similarly, these yogis are also very rare. They are not bound by the karmas. Right? Go ahead. You have some question? No? Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Meditate on the Virat Rupa.
Yeah, they meditate on the Virat. Yes. They meditate on the Virat Rupa, still they are not purified. So now, enough, now you go. They'll be gradually, we'll see how they are come mukti. Yeah.
Sometimes these demigods or Gandharvas, because of their bad karma, they got curse.
Yeah.
So that is not like karma, or that is because of curse only?
Because of the curse. That was not bound. They offended some saints, some rishis, so they were cursed to come. Yes, Prabhuji. Bharatvarsh is this earth planet. Huh? Hold on. You will study in detail in the 5th canto. It will come. Cosmology.
When we say this 84 lakh species,
yeah.
So out of which only 4 lakh are human species.
Yeah.
So amongst them, all these different demigods, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, all this comes, right?
Yes, yes.
So, so then all this, in this Bhuloka, as you were mentioning about, out of 9 Dvipas, only Jambu Dvipa and all.
Yeah.
So this 4 lakh of human species are distributed amongst all the Dvipas, or how? Or it's like this 4 lakh of human species are there in this
only.
Bharatvarsha.
Bharatvarsha. In this Bharatvarsha. Jambudvipa, maybe Jambudvipa, yes. Because Jambudvipa has 9 Varshas. So in the Jambudvipa, this 4 lakh species are there. Because in Jambudvipa only we can perform karma. And that too in this Bharatvarsha Bhuloka. It's very rare.
Desires matter a lot. Means we only create desires, and accordingly we have to suffer or wander. So I have always this. I asked different devotees, so I want clarification. See, suppose at this moment we have some desires for basically for a material enjoyment. Now the next moment I discard those material desires. Karma is not from only desire till desire platform. Now some desires are good and some desires like obnoxious, that has to be removed. So when we pray to Lord, even though I have desired something which is noted by the super soul, I have desire for something which is not has to be done, and it is noted by the super soul that this person wants this kind of material enjoyment. But later I am praying to the Lord that I don't want all these things. So how in this case? Still one has to take the material bodies to fulfill those desires, or Lord takes care by removing all these things?
Interesting question. Yeah. It is with all the conditioned souls. We have both kind of desires. So once long back, I asked the same question to His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swahi Maharaj. So when I came new to Krishna consciousness, I had the same confusion. So I asked Maharaj, I had both kind of desires. So super soul will feel which kind of desires? So Maharaj replied, the desires we cultivate. So we may have a lot of desires to enjoy this material world. But if I am not acting upon that, I am not cultivating those desires, so the desires will die off. Apure malnam vachnam patishtam samudra apa pavishanti sarve. Yadvata kamata pavishanti sarve sa shanti apnoti na kama kami. So he obtains peace who doesn't make efforts to fulfill these desires. So let the desires be there, we won't cultivate them. No, we won't contemplate on them. And in fact, Prahlad Maharaj is praying to Lord Narsingh, let all those material desires be cleared out from my heart. So we can pray like that and do not cultivate those material desires.
Cultivation means planning, or cultivation means getting into actions?
Yeah, planning may lead to action also. So avoid such desires and avoid.
So every time you don't have the control or the contemplation.
Yeah. So
things come from
practice.
subconscious.
We should practice to stop contemplation, and because if you are contemplating too much, it may lead to action also. So one has to be careful that way.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
The Lord is not, negative minded. Pakad li, abhi chodunga. He is not a sadistic person. So he says, okay, he's working hard and he knows he's struggling, how much he's sincerely struggling. So Lord will really help us. But we have to be careful.
like we see the demigods, they were attacked by so many demons. So they are getting the reaction of karma or what? Means the Indra, all this.
They are?
Getting a reaction of their karma, demons attacking Indra, all these things.
Okay. Demigods and demons, they are fighting. It is karma or their reaction. Yes. What is your opinion? I never thought about this. Because it is said all other planet systems are bhog yoni only. Or maybe they have very little freedom to perform activities. Because it is said while going to heavenly planets also they can perform devotional service. So they have little freedom. Maybe with the misuse of that freedom. Like Indra is offending Brahaspati. So it's not that bhog yoni, it has to be, it was to be, had to happen. So maybe they had that freedom is there, but it is little.
In Sutal Loka also, so my Sutal Loka, Patal Loka, they are living entities. So they are performing their, they can do karma or what? Sutal Loka, Patal Loka.
No, it's as generate is mentioned only on this Bhuloka.
Bhuloka.
Karmas are generated. Okay, yeah. It's not Pravarti Marg, Nivarti Marg. Pravarti Marg is, you go through the Karma Kandiya section. It's not like that. So they are not ordinary people that they are following Karma Kanda section, no. So they are very tapasvis, they are yogis, tapasvis, they have performed all kind of austerities, mystic powers. So they are not there. So it is Lord is facilitating them. They have tried their best till they have some desires, but they will be liberated gradually. Yeah, complete renunciation. So this kind of yogis are mentioned in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. You know? This is mentioned. Okay. Ashu, go ahead. Vaishnaram yati vihaya sagata sushumnaya brahm pathena shochisha विधुत कल को हरेर उदासता पर्याति चक्रम नृप शेषुमारम. Yes.
O king, when such a mystic passes over the Milky Way by the illuminating Sushumna to reach the highest planet Brahmalok, he goes first to Vaishvanar, the planet of the deity of fire, wherein he becomes completely cleansed of all contamination, and thereafter he goes still higher to the circle of Shushumar to relate with Lord Hari, the personality of Godhead.
Yeah. Okay. So you can read the commentary of Ishwar Thakur, please.
First, they go to the presiding deity of fire, Vaishvanar. Note, this is the label of Swarga. By mean of
Akash,
Vidhyash, through the
Sushumna
Nadi, by the path of Brahmalok, Brahma Pathena, that Nadi is locked outside the body since it is filled with luminaries, Shochisha, having given up all impurities, Vidhata Kalkaha, not being attached to anything. They proceed to the circle of stars located higher in the form of a dolphin, which is related to the Lord. That circle starts with stars such as Aditya, Punarvasu, and ends with the Dhruva star. Note, this is described in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.23. At the tail of Shushumar is the pole star. Its body extends around the sky, following the path of the sun with the 27 constellations situated on the path of the body.
Okay.
Parts of the body.
So journey starts with Vaishvananar, Vaishwanar planet. It is the planet of the presiding deity of the fire. From there, it goes to the planetary system of Shishumar. This will study the fifth canto. It is also an imagination. Compared to the dolphin, sometimes it is compared to the coiled snake. Okay, and Shishumar, like it starts with the planet of the Aditya, and at the end is the Dhruva star. And it is here where the Lord Kshirodagi Vishnu also resides. So it goes to that planetary systems. And this planetary system is situated of the Saptarishi Lok. It is at around 13 lakh yojan above Saptarishi Lok. It goes to that. And from here, it goes to the Brahmalok. Okay, that is described. Yes, Prabhuji.
So whatever is there outside, that is inside. Whatever is inside, that is outside. Like here, Sisumar planet and Pingla Nadi and Vaishwanar, this is all there in the body itself. So it's same thing, whatever is there in the body. So this phrase is correct.
I'm not aware of this, Prabhu, that where is the Shishumna Nadi or within the body also Shishumar is there.
Ingla, Pingla, Sisumna, these nadis
Yeah,
are there.
it is there, but same thing is there, I'm not sure.
And Vaishwanar is also there. Lord Krishna says, Aham Vaishwanar.
Oh, that is a fire in the
Yeah.
stomach. Maybe yes. But this, what is this Shishumana Nadi? And it is situated out of the body, out of this subtle body. So if anyone knows, I mean, you have some knowledge you can share.
I know. And regarding Sisumar planet, Prabhuji, it is in 5th canto it is mentioned that this is the same planet when Dhruv Maharaj is ruling.
Yeah.
Shishumar planet.
Yeah, it is a planetary system.
Yeah.
It is 27 constellations. Planetary system is there. At the end of the Shishumar planet, this planetary system is Dhruvlok.
So
at the tail of it.
You said something that this is imagination. That was related to what, Prabhuji?
Shishumar planet. It's like, imagine like a snake or a dolphin.
So the shape is imagination.
Yes, shape is
not the
imagination.
Sisumar planet.
No. It's like we can go to that 523 introduction. We can go. Maybe more clear. Shishumar planetary systems. You can read this, please.
This chapter describes how all the planetary systems take shelter of the pole star Dhruv Loka. It also describes the totality of these planetary systems to be Shishumar. Totality of this. Another expansion of the external body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dhruv Loka, the abode of Lord Vishnu, within this universe is situated 1.3 million yojanas from the 7 stars. In the planetary system of Dhruv Loka are the planets of fire god, Indra, Prajapati, Kashyap and Dharma, all of whom are very respectful to the great devotee Dhruv, who lives on the pole star. Like bulls yoked to a central pivot, all the planetary systems revolve around Dhruv Loka, impelled by eternal time. Those who worship the Virat Purush, the natural form of the Lord, conceive of this entire rotating system of planets as an animal known as Shishumar.
So they are conceived. They are conceiving as planetary system as an animal, Shishumar. Okay. Yeah.
This imaginary Shishumar is another form of the Lord. The head of the Shishumar form is downward and its body appears like that of a coiled snake. On the end of its tail is Dhruv Loka. On the body of the tail are Prajapati, Agni, Indra and Dharma. And on the root of the tail are Dhata and Vidhata. On its waist are the 7 great sages. The entire body of the Shishumar faces towards its right and appears like a coil of stars. On the right side of this coil are the 14 prominent stars from Abhijit to Punarvasu. And on the left side are the 14 prominent stars from Pushya to Uttara Shadha. The stars known as Punarvashu and Pusya are on the right and left hips of the Shishumar. And the stars known as Ardra and Ashlesha are on the right and left feet of the Shishumar.
Anyway, the details, the last line. To concentrate their minds, the yogis worship the Shishumar planetary systems, which is technically known as Kundalini Chakra. So like the planetary system is there, but they conceive of it as in the form of a animal, like say dolphin or coiled snake, that way.
Again, this Kundalini is there in our body, Prabhuji.
Acha.
Kundalini Chakra.
Acha. Yes, they say Kundali Jagana, you know. Okay, maybe yes. Thank you.
This fire god and sun god, they are different living.
Yeah, they are different.
They are different. Sun god is located on the sun globe, and fire god is
Different planet, yeah. It's different. So read the purport.
The pole star of the universe and the circle thereof are called Shishumar circle. And there in the local residential planet of the personality of Godhead, Shirodaksha Vishnu is situated. Before reaching there, the mystic passes over the Milky Way to reach Brahmalok, and while going there, he first reaches Vaishvanar Lok, the place of demigods controlling fire. On Vaishvanar Lok, the yogi becomes completely cleansed of all dirty sins acquired while in contact with the material world. The Milky Way is the sky. The Milky Way in the sky is indicated here as a way leading to Brahmalok, the highest planet of the universe.
Okay, good. Yes, translation please. Next.
This Shishumar is the pivot for turning of the complete universe, and it is called the navel of Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. The yogi alone goes beyond this circle of Shishumar and attains the planet Maharlok, where purified saints like Bhrigu enjoy a duration of life of 4 trillion 3,000 billion solar years.
430 billion.
430 billion solar years. This planet is worshipable even for the saints who are transcendentally situated.
Okay. So, you know, beyond the Maharlok, there is no relativity. All the residents of the Maharlok and up to Satyalok, they have the same lifespan. Okay. And no one go to Maharlok just by a result of karma. The Prabhupada is writing, by the result of our karma, we can go up to the Swarglok. So for going to the Maharlok, some yogic power is required. Only the yogis can go there. It's not that by performing some yajna, I can go to Maharlok. So all these yogis, but mystic powers are required to go to Maharlok. And from beyond Maharlok, there is no relative planets. So the higher planets, one of those that is Swarglok. When we say Bhubha Swa, so Swara means higher planets, 7 planets, higher planets. So out of those 7 planets, one is Swarglok. So up to Swarglok, we can go by performing karma, etc. But beyond Swarglok, we need some transcendence, we need some mystic powers. So the yogis go there. Different ways of describing. Bhubhasva means lower planetary system, upper planetary systems, and middle planetary system.
For lower it is called Bhu, Vaise?
Yeah,
That way.
that way.
It does not contain all the 14 planetary
No.
systems. These are also part.
14 planetary systems are there. They are divided into Bhubhasva.
Okay.
Lower, middle, higher.
Okay.
So higher are called Swa. Okay. Okay. So, yes, Prabhuji. Which one?
Shishumar and all this comes under 14 planetary system.
No, Shishumar doesn't come, I think.
So we say that this world, material world is 14 planetary system.
Yeah.
And all this is like, where are this? Like beyond 14 planetary system somewhere or?
It is within this universe, but you see, we say that Dhruv Lok is there within this universe, but not of this universe.
Okay.
That way you can understand. Dhruv Lok is not counted among the 14 planetary systems.
when we Narak Lok also, that is not come under 14 planetary system.
That comes.
Narak.
Narak fully comes into planetary system. Dhruv doesn't come. Yes, Rukmini.
Prabhuji, to go to become Brahma, 100 Aswamedha yajna has to be performed. So that comes under karma. So Brahma Lok can be attained by karma.
We have heard of this. Not 100. 100 lives we have to perform our varnashram duties.
Yeah.
That way. 100 Ashwamedha is for Indra.
Yeah.
It's not for karma. But varnashram duties, to perfectly perform the varnashram duties, then one can take the post of Brahma. It is said like that. Yes, it is there. That is also one of the karma. You are rightly saying that. But generally speaking, like from this we can infer that because karma can take up to Swarga. Only in exceptional cases like this, Brahmaji may be there for that. But generally speaking, only yogis attain those higher planetary systems beyond Maharlok. And so. Generally speaking.
And Prabhuji, since this topic has come, I have one question, long awaited question. It is mentioned that when living entity falls from Vaikuntha, the only position that he can attain is, that fits to him, is Brahma position. And so many living entities are there in this material world. So how, and also it is said, Prabhuji, that one has to do many pious activities, then he will become Brahma, and then from there no more birth, he will directly, after Laya, he will go to Vaikuntha. It is mentioned in Bhagavatam. Yeah. After Laya, Brahma Loka, and Brahma Loka, those people who live in Brahma Loka, they don't take birth again because they are pious.
No, they may or may not take. Depends. How is Brahma? Is Brahma is a devotee, then all the Brahmalok residents will be with him. They will follow the devotional path, and along with Brahma, they will go back to Godhead. If Brahma is not a devotee, then they will not go back to Godhead. It's not that all the residents of the Brahmalok and all the Brahmas will go back to Godhead. No. So when we are falling down, so we are in the process of devolution. Even after becoming Brahma, our propensity to enjoy separately from Krishna is not rectified. So we go down. We become demigod and then we go down, down, down. That way. You know. So if it is rectified in the Brahmalok, okay, then we may go back again. But normally it is said we go down. What is your question? Like?
Yeah, so the question is that to fall down, they will come to Brahmaloka.
Yeah.
And even to get elevated to Vaikuntha, they have to go Brahmaloka.
No. It's not that for going to Vaikuntha, we have to go through Brahmalok.
No, sorry, I misquoted the question.
Yeah.
So those who are in Brahmaloka, they will never fall down, they will go to Vaikuntha Loka.
No, it's not essential. It's not essential.
Yeah, I think it is mentioned somewhere in Bhagavatam.
Third canto it is mentioned. Yeah. When Lord Kapil Dev is explaining about this, it is said, if the Brahma is going back to Godhead, the residents will go back to Godhead. If Brahma is not going, they are not going. Without devotion, one cannot go back to Godhead. No. Brahma can be an ordinary living entity also, not a devotee also. No.
But in general,
if he is a devotee, then he will go. But when the person who has fallen from the spiritual sky is not, he wants to enjoy separately. So he will again come down. But if he is rectified, then he will go back. If he becomes a devotee, then he will go back.
But if you see the whole picture, Prabhuji, this whole thing is self-retreat, it appears to be.
No, you are going by the place. If one joins the temple, he'll go back to Godhead. Anyone joining a temple may not be able to go back to Godhead. So anyone coming to Brahma Lok may not be able to go back to Godhead. It's like that only. There are some poor products of a good school also. So that way, the school is very reputed. It has the college is very reputed. It has a job placement record of 99.99%. But there are some students who didn't get any job from that college also. It happens. That way. So Brahma, it's not that those who are on the Brahmalok, they are sure to go back to Godhead. No, it's not certain. You can go back to again to that purport and then we can discuss again. It must be with relevance to something, in context of something, if it is mentioned. It's not an absolute statement. Right? Okay. So, right. So we are at 26. Right? Atho anantasya mukhanalena dandayamanam saniriksha vishvam Niryati siddheshvara joshtadhishnyam yadvai paradhyam tadhu parmeshtyam. Okay. Please read.
At the time of the final devastation of the complete universe, the end of the duration of Brahma's life, a flame of fire emanates from the mouth of Ananta, from the bottom of the universe. The yogi sees all the planets of the universe burning to ashes, and thus he leaves for Satyaloka by airplane, used by the great purified souls. The duration of life in Satyaloka is calculated to be
this much.
This much years.
This is what you are good in that.
15.48 trillion years.
3 point?
15.48 trillion years.
311.
15.48.
Acha, 15.48. It's wrongly into 2. It's one prararth. It is 50%. It's mentioned 15 point. It is Brahma's life is divided into 2 prararths. Prararth. Prararth means 50 years, 50 years. So it into 2. So this is the one. So this is 311 trillion years. Okay. Good. Purport, Prabhuji.
It is indicated herein that the residents of Maharlok, where the purified living entities or demigods possess a duration of life calculated to be 4.3 billion solar years, have airships by which they reach Satyaloka, the topmost planet of the universe. In other words, the Srimad Bhagavatam gives us many clues about the other planets far, far away from us, which modern planes and spacecraft cannot reach, even by imaginary speeds. The statement of Srimad Bhagavatam are accepted by great acharyas like Sridhar Swami, Ramanujacharya, and Vallabhacharya. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically accepts Srimad Bhagavatam as the spotless Vedic authority, and as such, no sane man can ignore the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam when it is spoken by the self-realized soul, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, who follows in the footsteps of his great father Srila Vyasdeva, the compiler of all Vedic literatures. In the creation of the Lord, there are many wonderful things we can see with our own eyes every day and night, but we are unable to reach them equipped by modern materialistic science. We should not therefore depend on the fragmentary authority of materialistic science for knowing things beyond the range of scientific purview. For a common man, both modern science and Vedic wisdom are simply to be accepted because none of the statements either of modern science or of Vedic literatures can be verified by him. The alternative for a common man is to believe either of them or both of them. The Vedic way of understanding, however, is more authentic because it has been accepted by the acharyas, who are not only faithful and learned men, but are also liberated souls without any of the flaws of conditioned souls. The modern scientists, however, are conditioned souls liable to so many errors and mistakes. Therefore, the safe side is to accept the authentic version of Vedic literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam, which is accepted anonymously by the great acharyas.
Yeah. So you see, we cannot verify the modern science also. A common man cannot verify the modern science. A common man cannot verify the statements of the Vedas also. So no process can start with doubt. So we believe the modern science very easily. So why not to believe the Vedic science? It starts with Shabda. So we start with Shabda. Even modern science starts with Shabda. And the Shabda will lead to Pratyaksha, and then our faith is solidified. Okay. So Prabhupada is very nicely given nice argument. We cannot test neither the modern science nor the Vedic science. So better to have faith in the Vedic science because it is being verified by the learned man and by the people who are beyond the three modes of nature, beyond the four faults. Okay. Now in this way it is said, during the time of annihilation. Now Prabhupada is writing total annihilation, but Vishwanath Thakur is writing, after this, seeing the three worlds, including the Swarga burning because of the fire emanating from this, he departs from the Brahmalok, which lasts true prarads, and where they are flying vehicles used by the perfected beings. So the Mahalok is not destroyed during the partial annihilation. All the lokas below Mahalok, up to Swargloka, they are destroyed. But they feel the heat coming from the Swarglok. So they have the planes. So they vacate the Mahalok and go to the Brahmlok with their planes, aeroplanes. Okay. This is what is described here. Okay.
Prabhuji,
Haan ji.
this here in the translation it is mentioned 26th that the yogi sees all planets burning to ashes and thus he leaves for Satyaloka.
Yeah.
So at the end of Brahma's life, even Satyaloka is destroyed.
Yeah, that's a bit confusion here. Prabhupada is mentioning at the end of Brahma's life. At the end of the Brahma life, everything will be annihilated. But when I refer to Vishwanath Thakur, he says after, because then it doesn't make a sense that he's taking an aeroplane and going to Satyaloka. Then even Mahalok will be destroyed.
Correct.
But if he's going from Mahalok to Satyaloka by having planes, then it indicates partial annihilation. At the end of Brahma's day, then it makes sense, then he goes there. So that tallies with the Vishwanath Thakur's translation. Otherwise, Brahma, Satyaloka is also destroyed. Okay. So what is there in the Brahmaloka? Nayatra shoko najara na mrityur nati nachadvegrite kutaschit yachitta tato daha kripya dimam vidam kripya nidam vidam duranta dukha prabhavanu darshanat. Yes, Prabhuji.
In that planet of Satyaloka, there is neither bereavement, nor old age, nor death. There is no pain of any kind, and therefore there are no anxieties, save that sometimes, due to consciousness, there is a feeling of compassion for those unaware of the process of devotional service, who are subjected to unsurpassable miseries in the material world.
Yeah. So they don't have any anxiety except for the anxiety for all of us. That's why we are rotting in this material world. Okay.
But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, "A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna." So that means birth and death happens. So here death is mentioned, not doesn't take place.
Yeah. Similarly, even demigods are called Amar. So they have very long span of life.
Long span, but still it has to come.
It's talked in a relative sense. It's talked in relative. Sometimes these things are mentioned in relative sense. Okay. Kuch nahi hai, bas, there's no death, practically no death, but there's a death, we know. Because complete annihilation, Brahma will be annihilated.
So disease and old age, I have heard it's not there in the upper planetary systems.
Yeah.
Like disease and old age is not present in upper planetary systems. Even Swargaloka and all, from that onwards only, like all the upper planetary systems.
Yeah. Disease and old age are not there.
Are not there, but otherwise birth and death has
Birth and death are there. Yes, they are there. Birth and death are there. Like why demigods are called Amar? They are not Amar. Similarly, it's mentioned in the Satyalok there is no death. But it's very, very long age that way. Yes, Prabhuji.
Regarding his question, so birth and death, birth means like he will be a baby and then he will be young. So these things are not there in upper planetary systems. That is why
birth doesn't mean baby and grow. Birth means when a soul enters into a body, it is birth. When the soul leaves the body, it is death. We are used to like seeing this. I think in the heavenly planets, immediately there is a delivery. Immediately the man can come out, It need not go through like we see in these earthly planets. It need not be like that.
There is no delivery in approach. They are directly human body. I mean, they are in full form body.
Yeah.
They don't take birth from the womb.
They don't take birth from the womb. From the where do they appear?
Directly they will appear, and when the time of expiry will be there, they will directly, their body will be transformed into rains directly.
Yes. So whatever the process, when the soul enters into the body, is birth. When the soul leaves the body, it is death. You know.
So I think that is how we are taking it, but Prabhupada has mentioned it that way.
Prabhupada has mentioned
that this is, we are saying that this is birth and death. Prabhupada is saying no, this is not birth and death. It is just their body living and rejecting the body.
I couldn't get your point. Prabhupada is saying what?
As we are saying that accepting the body is birth and living the body is death.
Yeah.
So here Prabhupada is saying that he has accepted the body in the sense that not taking birth as happens on earth.
No. It is like you see the translation. It says, "Na yatra shoko na jara na mrityu." There is no old age, there is no death, there is no pain, there is no anxiety except for this. So it means they have a very, very long life. That's why they are practically without death. Like it's in comparison to the earthly planets, they have such a long span of life. They are considered to be immortal. That's what it's mentioned. Like demigods are called Amar. They are not Amar. So Brahma's lifespan is higher than the demigods. So that's being spoken in relative sense. What is the process of birth? What is the process of death? That is immaterial. That is immaterial. Because everywhere Prabhupada has said, but define death as when the soul leaves the body, it is death. When the soul enters the body, it is birth. Prabhupada has defined it many places like this. No. So it is out of compassion only they have little anxiety. What will happen to these conditioned souls? Okay. So Prabhupada's long purport is there. And Prabhupada is talking about so we can read this. The Vedic wisdom guides us. You can read from here.
The Vedic wisdom guides us to understanding our relation with the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and to acting accordingly in order to achieve the desired result of returning home back to Godhead. But materialistic men do not understand this. They want to make a plan to become happy in a place where there is no happiness. For false happiness, they try to reach other planets, either by Vedic rituals or by spacecraft. But they should know for certain that any amount of materialistic adjustment for becoming happy in a place where meant for distress cannot benefit the misguided man, because after all, the whole universe with all its paraphernalia will come to an end after a certain period. Then all plans of materialistic happiness will automatically come to an end.
Yeah, so Prabhupada is stressing only way we can get the real happiness is going back to Godhead. Okay. Tato vishesham pradipadya nirbhya tenatmanapo ananmurtir atvaran jyotirmayo vayumupetya kale vayu atmanakham brahadatmaningam. Please.
After reaching Satyalok, the devotee is specifically able to be incorporated fearlessly by the subtle body in an identity similar to that of the gross body, and one after another he gradually attains stages of existence from earthly to watery, fiery, glowing and airy, and until he reaches the ethereal stage.
Yes. So if you can read the commentary, please.
Anyone who can reach Brahmalok.
No, here, commentary on the screen. On the screen. Acha, sorry. You can read from.
If the yogi desires to stay until the end of Brahma's life, he attains liberation at time with Brahma. If he desires liberation before that, he pierces the 7 coverings of the universe and enters Brahman. This is now described. First, he attains the first layer of earth, Vishesham, 5 billion yojanas thick, covering the universe, measuring 5 billion yojanas in width. How does he do this? He takes a form of earth, Atmana. Attaining the other layers should be understood in the same way. He is devoid of any fear of suffering to the body from burning or other dangers. Then he attains the layer of water, which is 10 times thicker than the earth layer, with a water body. Then with a form of fire, Anala Murti, he attains the layer of fire 10 times thicker than the water layer. Atvaran means becomes. He attains these various forms to enjoy the sense objects of each layer. In earth, with an earth body, he can enjoy the sense objects of smell, and in the water layer, with a water body, he can enjoy the sense object of taste. After some time, with that fiery body, he attains the layer of air 10 times thicker than the fire layer, with an air body. He then attains the layer of ether 10 times thicker than the air layer. It is a form of the great soul, Brihad Atma Lingam. Since it is worshipped as a form of Paramatma, or it is called the great soul because ether's essence is sound, which is the Vedas. It proves the Vedas by being the sound of the Vedas.
Okay, good, thank you. So very interesting. So after reaching Brahmlok, he wants to attain liberation before Brahma, then he has to cross through the 7 coverings. So this universe has 7 coverings, and each covering is 10 times thicker than the previous covering. So when he goes to the earth covering, he attains the body of complete earth. So we don't have the experience of this. Our body is a mixture of all the elements. But he'll attain the complete body of the earth. And why he attains this body? Because he had the desire to enjoy smell. So whatever amount of smell he wants to enjoy, he enjoys that. And when he's asked, you want to enjoy more? No, I'm done with it. So he promotes to the next level. So then when he goes to the next level, he is in the subtle body, he gives up the desire to enjoy smell. Then that's how he's purified. That's how liberation means getting rid of the subtle body. So he gives up that part of the subtle body of enjoying smell. Then he goes to the watery body, completely watery body. The watery body means enjoys what? Water has taste. So खूब taste किया उसमें, खूब when it's filled up, okay. Then he gives up this desire to enjoy taste. Then he enters the fiery body. Then he enjoys the form. That way he is liberated. Gradually he gives up the part of the subtle body and he goes up and up. So that is how. Only yogis, not for us. It's only for those yogis who meditate the Virat Roop, who were not completely purified. So devotees will go directly to. Yeah. No, this is the process of liberation. They will keep on cycle of birth and death. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So we'll go to the next one, right? Read the translation, please. Question? Yes, brother.
The devotee is thus surpassed.
He has questions. Yeah. What? Yes. It is the 6th layer is the 7 layers, no? Yeah. 5 are the gross elements, and then there's the ether. That is 5, Akash. Na? Then mind, intelligence, and ego. And next it will come, I think. It will be, then it is said ego, and then Mahatattva, and then Pradhan. Yes, the 6th layer will be ego, and then comes Mahatattva. The 7 layers. Next will come, yeah. Read the translation.
The devotee then surpasses.
He is not a devotee, he is a yogi basically. No, the Prabhupada never use the word yogi. Devotee won't have to go through this. Devotee will directly go, so don't worry. Obviously, it will come in the end. They know this. It's not first time it's happening. The Sukadeva Goswami said this process has been told by Krishna to Brahma. So he'll quote the authority. So it is. Yes. Yes, Prabhuji. Read the translation.
The devotee thus surpasses the subtle objects of different senses, like aroma by smelling, the palate by tasting, vision by seeing forms, touch by contacting, the vibrations of the ear by ethereal identification, and the sense organs by material activities.
So that way, so these sense objects are there. In this layer, the sense objects are also there, like we have discussed. So he gives up that sense object also. That's how he is liberated. Okay. So 30th verse. Sabhutma sakshmendriya sannikarsham manomayam devamayam vikaryam sansade gatya sahatena yati vijnana tattvam gunasannirodham. Yeah.
The devotee, thus surpassing the gross and the subtle forms of coverings, enter the plane of egoism, and in that status he merges the material modes of nature, ignorance and passion. In this point of neutralization, and thus reaches egoism in goodness. After this, all egoism is merged in the Mahatattva, and he comes to the point of pure self-realization.
Okay. Now, from this ether, he reaches to the ego. Now we know, we will study in the 5th chapter, by the transformation of the ego in the mode of goodness, we get mind. By the transformation of ego in the mode of passion, we get intelligence, sense, subtle senses. And by transformation of ego in the mode of ignorance, we get sense objects and gross senses. So everything is deposited back. So all this is deposited back in the ego. Okay. And then ego is deposited in the Mahatattva. And the Mahatattva is deposited in the Pradhan. And then he is completely relieved of the subtle body, and then he goes to the merge into the that way. Like there are some factories if we are visiting, at the first gate they'll give us a gate pass. We'll go inside. Then they say, okay, we have to wear the safety shoes. You go inside, okay, you have to wear some safety jacket. Okay. But when you come out, first we give out what? Safety jacket, then shoes, and then at the gate pass. Then I'm relieved. Similarly, in the 5th chapter, we'll study how the creation happens. It is how he's winding up. So he winds up everything, and then he's free. This is how Krama Mukti is there. Okay. Okay. So Prabhupada is, even in this purport, Prabhupada is completely mentioning about chanting of the holy name. So you don't get confused. Offenses to be avoided. So how this is, So that's how Prabhupada loves us so much, that we should never get deviated. This is the process we have to follow. But at the same time, we are doing Bhakti Vaibhav, so we should know all these aspects. Okay. But But normally in our Bhagavatam class, etc., we don't discuss such things. That's why we are not having such good knowledge of yoga and everything. What happens. You never bother to know about them. Okay. Tenat, Prabhuji. Yeah. Yeah.
With 8 petals, and in the center of the thing, on the golden throne, Srimati Radharani sits along with Krishna.
Yeah.
Is it that part is also mentioned?
No. Yeah. What is Pradhan? Please someone explain. Mahat Tattva Pradhan. That is not Pradhan. That is Radharani is the Pradhan. Like here the Pradhan is Brajhari Prabhu. So not okay. Yes. Okay. Tenatmanatmanam upaiti shantam anandam anandmayo vasane etam gatim bhagavatim gatoya savai punarneha vissajjate anga. Yes, Prabhuji.
Only the purified soul can attain the perfection of associating with the personality of Godhead in complete bliss and satisfaction in his constitutional state. Whoever is able to renovate such devotional perfection is never again attracted by this material world and never returns.
Yeah.
And he never returns.
Okay. So Prabhupada is writing for the devotees. But for the yogi, he has gone and merged. But Vishwanath Thakur gives the translation that they merge into the body of Mahavishnu, like you were saying. So here I did this. In the previous Mukti, Vishwanath Thakur said they merge into the Brahma Effulgence. So you can read the translation Vishwanath Thakur has given.
O king, he merges his Swarup along with Pradhan into the blissful, unchanging form of Mahavishnu. With that termination, he remains blissful. He who has attained this goal does not return to the material world.
Yeah. So read the commentary also.
Along with Pradhan, Tena, in his Swarup, Atmana, he attains the Supreme Brahman, the Adi Purush, Atmanam, full of bliss, who is beyond the layer of Prakriti. This is the abode of Karnadakshay Vishnu. Finally, he becomes bliss, Anandamay Avasane. This means that he merges into the Lord. He does not return to the material world.
Okay. So now it says he does not return to the material world, but Prabhupada is again and again saying they fall back again into the material world. So how to understand this?
After complete annihilation, we also merge into the body of Mahavishnu.
But that we are not liberated.
Means
we are not liberated. We are just sleeping. So when the creation start again, we'll again come back.
because of the desires.
But they won't come.
Because of the desires.
Huh?
Because of
desire. When they have exhausted their desires. So they won't come. So they are liberated. But still they have a chance to come. Sayuja Mukti means they can fall down. They are not thrown out like Shine Punya Mrityu Lokam Vishanti. They are not thrown out like they are living entities are thrown out of the heavenly planets. Get out, your pious activities are exhausted. So they are not thrown out, but on their own will they will fall down because they are inactive there. Okay, but bhakti can be performed everywhere. Devotional service is independent. So there in Brahmjyoti also they can perform devotional service if they wish. But the point is, during their practice, they have not actuated their spiritual senses and spiritual mind. They are not active. Only thing they can do in Brahmjyoti is smaran. They can meditate. That's what they have done. So that they can do. And if they do, they can also become devotee and go back to Godhead. Otherwise, if there is no activity, they will fall down. So it is out of their choice. They are not thrown out of the Brahmjyoti. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, regarding Brahma, mixing in Brahma, it is said that this is Sat feature only.
Yes, Sat feature.
And those who are Paramatma practicing, they go for Sat and Chit.
Chit, yeah.
But Anand is not there.
Yeah.
And we also know that Brahma Sukh is there.
Yeah.
So Brahma Sukh means getting Brahman effulgence. If someone is there, he is getting.
Yeah.
So these things, I mean, could you please explain again?
Yeah. So in a way, this I asked the same question to a senior devotee also. So I was also wondering, then their happiness should be more than the happiness attained by the Brahmavadis, Paramatmavadis. But in a way, they are more unfortunate. Even though after having the darshan of the personal form of the Lord, they choose to be merged in the Brahma effulgence. Brahmavadis don't have the darshan of the super soul. So they choose to merge in the Brahma effulgence. But the yogis, even after having darshan of the Paramatma, they choose to merge in the effulgence. You know. So in a way, they are more unfortunate. Right? After they have taken the darshan, they should be attracted by it and they should choose to become devotees. But their desire, to escape from the misery of the material world was so strong. They decided, no, we just want to escape the miseries. Okay. That is my understanding as of now. I heard somewhere that in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu it is mentioned that those who attain Sayuja Mukti, Paramatmavadi, their bliss is more than the bliss of the Brahmavadi. But I just heard it, I couldn't locate it. So I was searching on this, and I asked some other devotee, they said, they shared what I am sharing with you. Okay.
So Prabhuji, up till now we were reading that they go to the Vaikuntha lokas. So
Paramatmavadis?
Yeah?
No.
Okay, what is their destination?
Impersonal Brahman.
Impersonal Brahman.
Yeah.
Both are having same destination.
Same destination. In fact, here Vishnu Thakur is saying they are merging into the body of the Lord, which is worse than the merging into the Brahma effulgence. Worse, yeah. Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the talks between Lord Chaitanya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Mahaprabhu says that they are worse because even after having this, personal feature of the Lord, they wanted to merge into the body of the Lord, not to serve Him. That is even worse. You could see the personal form, but you decided to merge into the body. You avoided serving Him. That is worse than that.
Prabhuji, as we read in the previous verses, Akuntha Loka, and Param Dham, these words were constantly coming. So this is indicating Vaikuntha.
No, Vaikuntha. It is indicating, Prabhupada is writing, it is indicating both effulgence also and Dham also.
Yeah.
But Prabhupada is translating as Dham. But Prabhupada is also mentioning it means effulgence also. No.
So they get absorbed in the body of
Mahavishnu.
Karanaranavi Vishnu.
But if they get in the Brahmlok, if they get association of devotees, then they go back to Godhead. If in the Brahmlok they stay with Brahma and Brahma is a devotee, then with the association they become devotees and they go back to God.
Okay, so these Paramatmavadis, they are not able to cross the Virja river.
No, Virja is there now.
Because
Karanaksha Vishnu, yes.
They are not able to cross.
Yeah, but it is beyond the material creation.
No, this is beyond the material universe, but not beyond the material creation.
Yeah.
So they are inside the material creation, Paramatmavadis.
No, it's beyond material creation. It's in causal ocean. It's outside the material world.
Causal ocean is the border, Prabhuji,
so it's the border. It's outside the universe.
Karanaranavi Vishnu, he is in the material universe. Beyond, in spiritual world, he is not there.
He is beyond the material universe. Kanadaksha Vishnu. Kshirodaksha Vishnu, Garbhadaksha Vishnu, they are in the universe. Kanadaksha is beyond the universe. He is generating universes. So he is beyond the universe.
He is beyond material universe, Prabhuji. I'm talking about material nature. So Virja is the border from where Raja and other modes gets started. So below that it will be
So
material
he's
creation.
in that. So he's not affected by three modes. He's beyond this material nature. He's beyond this universe.
He is beyond material modes, but he is in the boundary of material creation. That is my point. He is beyond the modes, but
Yeah, yeah.
his house is within the modes.
No.
Where he stays.
Causal ocean. Virja Nadi is same as causal ocean. So it is the boundary between the material world and the spiritual world. To go to the spiritual world, you have to cross this causal ocean. So he is in that.
Okay. And then Brahmavadis, where do they merge?
Effulgence of the Lord.
Beyond Virja river.
Beyond causal ocean.
So they are lower grade students, but they are getting higher promotions.
I mean, this was I also surprised when I read that they merge into the body of Brahm, because everywhere it is written they get impersonal Brahm effulgence. So only in one place Vishnu Thakur is writing this. So what we'll do is we'll go into the conversation of Sarvam Bhattacharya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we can go through that also. We'll get more clarity there. Yes, ma'am.
Is this correct understanding that this Krama Mukti is Virat Roop meditation?
Yeah.
Those yogis which are not so advanced,
Yeah.
so then they get this kind of impersonal Sayujya Mukti as we are talking about.
Yeah. So we can see this.
Yeah, but those who are advanced yogis, those who are able to see the Lord as Paramatma in their heart,
yeah,
they actually, because they are advanced, they are not like other yogis,
Yeah.
So then they actually can access Vaikuntha Lokas.
Yes.
Because they are seeing the Paramatma feature.
No, they straightway go to the Brahm effulgence. You see this chart? Seeing this chart? On this left side, Vaishnava Lok, Shishuma Lok, Mahal Lok, Brahm Lok changes from earth, watery, fiery, eathery, pierces false ego, pierces Mahatav, pierces Pradhan and liberation. And here, right hand side, Paramatma Vadi were there. Those who meditate on the Paramatma, Dhyan, Samadhi, Brahm realization, Shat Chakra Yoga, and then liberation. Okay.
Okay, so that means, so then Paramatma they are seeing, so they will not go to Vaikuntha Loka.
No. Because their desire to merge into effulgence is very, very strong. You see, Duryodhana also saw Krishna, but there is no desire to serve. Until and unless one is blessed by the mercy of a devotee, one cannot perform devotional service. Devotional service starts with the mercy of a devotee.
So then why he is called advanced yogi? Just because he can directly enter Brahma Loka, what that Brahman effulgence, and this Virat Rupa meditation yogi, he has to cross all, he has to go through all these lokas.
Yeah.
Oh.
That. Destination is almost the same. Right. Okay. Kram Mukti is over. It's very difficult to understand. We have examples in the Bhagavatam where the yogis became devotees. So let's be satisfied with those examples. Why to go into Kram Mukti and this is not meant for us. Other Puranas may be there, but why, what is the need? That's why Prabhupada didn't mention. Now you got so inquisitive. If Prabhupada would have mentioned something, then we would have gone to other Puranas, we have studied there, wasted our time. Prabhupada again and again saying, no, you need to waste time. Just focus on chanting. That's all. See? Okay, because we want variety. Now we see we have been chanting for so long. Let's try this. Let's try this. It's good. So that way. But this is very, very tough. Chanting is so easy. Understanding is so tough. Yes, Prabhu. In case
planetary systems within 1 year?
Yeah.
That means he went.
No, he didn't went to all this Vaishnava Lok, Shishuma Lok, Mahalok. He didn't went through all this. And he said he has such mystic powers, he could even go inside and outside of the universe. Within universe also he traveled up to the Brahmlok, and then he went to Shivlok, he went to Vaikuntha, and then again came back.
That means even if Munis, yogis, they go to Vaikuntha, still they can come back.
They go to Vaikuntha, they come back. Like in your altar, if AC is not working, so we call that electrician. So we say, I was the altar, but he's not Brahman initiated. He said, now I've entered altar, now I can wear the thread. It's not that. So we just went for a purpose, then came back. He is not qualified to stay there, but he had mystic powers to enter Vaikuntha. But he couldn't stay there. No. Both. Unsuccessful yogis, devotees also, these mystic yogis also. Both. Yes, Prabhuji.
Comes Paramatmavadi. But the destination of Brahmavadi is already higher than Paramatmavadi.
You see, I'll check up with this because this chart is showing almost the same. Normally, you see, those who meditate on the Paramatma, they merge into the Brahma effulgence. Only for this Kram Yogi, Kram Mukti, Vishwanath Thakur is mentioning that they merge into the body of Mahavishnu. So normally it is taken that they merge into the Brahma effulgence. But some yogis may merge into the body of yogis. So it is destination is taken as same. Brahmavadis and Paramatmavadis. Destination is taken as same.
If destination is same, Prabhuji, then why Brahmavadi will aspire for becoming Paramatmavadi?
What we are talking that in our yoga leader, Brahmavadi doesn't aspire to become Paramatmavadi. It is a process of, evolution. First he performs Karma Yoga, then he is purified. Then he gets the knowledge. I am not this body, I am the soul. Then again he is purified, he gets the knowledge, there is soul also and there is a super soul also. And then again he is with the association, he wants to serve that super soul. Who is the source of that super, he knows Krishna. Then he becomes Bhakti Yogi. It's a ladder. It's a process of elevation. It's not that the Gyan Yogi wants to become Paramatma Vadi. No. Vadi means it is their destination. But in the ladder, it is a step only. Gradual elevation. That way. That's how Bhagavad Gita is progressing. Right. Okay. Satisfied with Kram Mukti? Okay. Now, where were we? 31. Okay. Then we'll stop here. It's 4:30. Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anand Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.